Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright people, Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte this weekend. I've said this once, I'll say it again. I'm doing my prediction on more than likely Wednesday. I'll get that video out and hopefully all systems are go. We're just waiting for the okay, but we think we're good for the documentary to go out. Well, it's Monday night when I'm recording this, but this will go out tomorrow morning. So hopefully this evening we'll have that documentary good to go, which I'm really looking forward to. I think it's brilliant. Haven't seen it, took my own horn, but I think it's fantastic. I really do. I think it's really good. We obviously want to talk about this fight. We obviously want to look at both guys. I've looked at 3 flaws in Dillian Whyte's game that I think Tyson Fury really can use to exploit Dillian Whyte, and if Dillian Whyte hasn't addressed them issues, or if they're still prevalent, which I would imagine they would be, but maybe not to the same degree, then I think Tyson Fury can use them to his advantage. Likewise, I believe that there are things in Tyson Fury's game that Dillian Whyte can use to his advantage, and I think that there are certain little flaws there from Tyson Fury from a technical point of view that I actually think Dillian Whyte may be able to exploit, and Dillian Whyte may look to exploit. And there's certain things I think as well that Dillian Whyte, many people don't actually think he can do these things, but as I'll show you now in a sec, he can do. So the first thing, obviously I was looking at both guys today, and I spent the last few hours looking through Tyson Fury, trying to see for little things that I can just, say like, okay, how could he do that against Dillian Whyte? If he does this against Dillian Whyte, what would happen? And one thing I noticed, especially in the Deontay Wilder fight, is, the Deontay Wilder fight, to treat him, in the third fight specifically, was Tyson Fury being susceptible to straight punches. Have a look there on screen, right? We're going to look at this. Now, this isn't from the Wilder fight. This is from the Otto Wallin fight. Now, have a look. Fury backs up, left hand lands. Obviously, Wallin is fighting from the southpaw stance, but just look. Fury's using this jab to keep Wallin off of him, right? Now, he's on his toes, which you would expect is going to happen in the Whyte fight. Wallin throws a jab to the body over with a left hand. Fury's hands are down low, right? So, that shot comes over the top. I don't think Fury's reflexes are quite what they were, and it's able to land. Now, you might say, okay, that's from the southpaw stance, which, to be fair, it is. But Dillian Whyte is not much shorter than Otto Wallin, and he can throw good straight right hands, as you'll see just here. This is in the Chisora fight, the second fight. In the first round, boom, straight right hand on Chisora. Now you think that's the end of it. Buzzes Chisora, but he keeps coming. Jab from Chisora, wait for it, boom. And that's the one that does hurt him. Straight right hand, Chisora. Dillian Whyte not noted as a big right hand puncher. Chisora was rocked there. And another thing with the straight punch that Tyson Fury, and I don't have it in this, but Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte is going to need to look for, is that you see in the third Wilder fight, right, when he was getting hit by the right hands from Deontay Wilder and getting dropped, he was coming in with the guard like that, but Fury was anticipating those shots to come from a looping angle. So he was anticipating Deontay Wilder was looking to set up the right hand, but he was looking to come round with it, not straight down the pipe, which is what Deontay Wilder did. Was he came straight down the pipe, and that was when the punch landed on Tyson Fury, the one that knocked him down in the fourth round. He was still dazed after that, although he did recover from that one fairly quick, but he was then again dropped, which I will show you now in a sec, which is the second key point I want to talk about. Fury's inside game or close-up game when he's in there with an opponent and he's having a trade match, which I'll talk now in a sec. But with the straight shots, we've seen him be caught with a few from both stances. Dillian Whyte obviously is going to be coming in from the orthodox stance, but Dillian Whyte, he has a good jab. Dillian Whyte, the saying is, you can't hook with a hooker, which we'll talk about now in a sec, but you can jab with a jabber. Whilst Tyson Fury's jab is one of his main weapons, it's what he used to control the range, you can jab with Tyson Fury, as Deontay Wilder has done. Dillian Whyte, in my opinion, has a better jab than Deontay Wilder. If he looked to set that jab up and he's doing it correctly, like what I talked about earlier, where, he's misjudging the distance, where, he's kind of off balance when he's throwing it, Dillian Whyte comes in with his left hand low at times, which often makes the opponent wonder, because Dillian Whyte can be quite erratic when he throws, as you saw in the highlight clip I showed you with him, where he would kind of swing and loop with it as a hook, so you need to be wary of that. But if Dillian Whyte is leading with that jab to the body and then maybe comes over the top with it, a la Otto Wallin, or Again, a bit like Deontay Wilder, Fury's anticipating the shot to come looping, and Dillian Whyte does loop the right hand a lot, but he does still throw it straight, as you saw from the Chisora clip. So first thing for Dillian Whyte, one of the keys, right hand, straight right hands. His right hand's not as good as his left hook, but it's not a terrible punch either. The second would be Tyson Fury up close, and also Tyson Fury when he's in an exchange. Now have a look on screen. This is the exchange in the Wilder trilogy when he gets dropped. Now Wilder's going in for the kill, Fury's tucking up, and he's trying to avoid some of them shots. Wilder's swinging for the fences, but he's able to find Fury. Now Fury is throwing looping shots as well, and obviously he gets tagged and goes down, and he has the look, I mean, I remember Hatman saying it, and I actually thought that as well when it happened. He did have the look of a man who was like, really, do I want this? But when Fury's up close and he's swinging it out like that, when he's up close with someone, he likes to bully, he likes to lean up. Dillian Whyte likes to do that as well, and he'll often leave himself in positions where he could get caught, specifically with left hooks. Deontay Wilder, not a noted left hook puncher, it has to be said, but Dillian Whyte, as we see with Joseph Parker, look on screen, when Joseph Parker comes in, Dillian Whyte straight away onto that, boom, catch and shoot, left hook down. Won't be probably as clean as that for Dillian Whyte against Tyson Fury, but if Tyson Fury is in a situation where he's up close, he's trying to trade with Dillian Whyte, Tyson Fury's hooks are not as compact, they're not as crisp. I would argue Dillian Whyte, look at the speed, look at that shot again, and look at the speed of the left hook. Like, look at it there, it's in full view, full motion, just the kick come in, boom, just like that, like a little bullet, just boom, just like that. If Tyson Fury gets hit with one of them hooks from Dillian Whyte, he's got to find himself on the canvas, make no mistake about it. Tyson Fury against someone like Deontay Wilder, when he's coming in and trying to bully an opponent, Deontay Wilder is a pencil in reality. And a lot of the muscle he packed on, I believe, came to his detriment. There was nothing he could have done to negate Tyson Fury being stronger. He'll always be the stronger man, regardless whether you're 210 or 230. All that will be in 230 will happen is that you're going to be breathing a lot heavier, because your lungs just aren't used to carrying that weight. But with Dillian Whyte, he's used to having an opponent up close. He's used to roughing it up with opponents. He quite likes that. And if it does come close quarters, and Tyson Fury can be a bit dirty as well when he's up close. You'll see it in the Wilder trilogy fight, where he would try and move Deontay Wilder's hands in such a way where he was able, and illegally by the way, and pull Wilder's head back illegally so he could land the uppercut. Right? Dillian Whyte, I can't see Dillian Whyte letting Tyson Fury get away with it. I can see Dillian Whyte making it very hard for Tyson Fury on the inside. And if we get into a situation where there is an exchange, I expect Dillian Whyte, especially if there's hooks going, to come out the stronger. So the 2 points I have so far is straight punches for Tyson Fury, specifically the right hand. Right? He's a bit vulnerable to that. He has been caught with straight right hands against Deontay Wilder. Obviously, it was a left hand against Oliver Lean, but he was caught with a few of them as well. So straight shots. Second of all, when it's close quarters, Dillian Whyte, much more compact left hooks on the inside. Right? If it gets into an exchange, he's probably wouldn't be as strong as Tyson Fury, but he won't be manhandled like Deontay Wilder. He will be able to match Tyson fire for fire up close. Now the third point is a point that Dillian Whyte himself actually picked up on Tyson Fury. I think it was even just before the trilogy fight. And this, simple as, is Tyson Fury's movement. It's not the same as it was a couple of years ago. Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte believes, moved to Javon Sugar Hill to learn that style out of necessity, because he doesn't have the movement. He's not able to be as fleet of foot, be as crisp, on his toes for 12 rounds as he was against Vladimir Klitschko. Have a look on screen. We'll have a look here. A few highlights from Vladimir Klitschko versus Tyson Fury. I also chucked in Otto Dillian clips in here so you can see the difference in foot speed. So here it is against Klitschko. Let's have a look-see, right? Now, obviously, this was not compelling viewing at the time to watch the whole fight, but just look at the fluidity of Tyson Fury. Just look at that, right? Able to slip them shots. Look at the foot speed. Boom, in. Look at the quickness of his feet there, right? Yes, I'll admit, a lighter man, no doubt about it. But he was able to have that movement, have that balance, have that poise, have that foot speed for 12 rounds consistently. Consistently was able to do it for 12 rounds, right? Now make a contrast from that to the Dillian fight. Yes, he's on his feet. Yes, he's slipping the shots. Yes, he's able to avoid some of what Otto Wallin was throwing, but not all of it. You know, he was backing up in straight lines at points in that fight. He was making mistakes, and he wasn't able to move like he was against Klitschko, a couple of years ago in 2019. It's 2019. It's 2022 now. Right? Tyson Fury, subsequent the Otto Wallin fight, has had a rematch with Deontay Wilder, has had 2 fights with Deontay Wilder, one of which he took virtually no punishment, and the other of which he did take punishment. He was down twice. You know, we're how many years? We're nearly crazy to think. We're nearly 7 years removed from the Vladimir Klitschko fight. It'll be 7 years come the end of November. Crazy. Time flies. But Tyson Fury back then could move for the 12 rounds. I don't think he can do it. I don't think he has the feet. I don't think he's got the legs to do it anymore. Right? So he is going to be a lot more stationary at times. Dillian Whyte, the body snatcher, I mean, it says it all. He is going to attack Tyson Fury's body. His midref is there to be hit. Otto Wallin showed that in a couple of them clips I showed you. So Tyson Fury, people make it out as though Tyson Fury, I mean, a lot of his fans, God almighty, they'll make it out as though Fury is unbeatable, that he's indestructible. There's no such thing as a perfect fighter. Make no mistake about that. Floyd Mayweather, if Floyd Mayweather had fought the best of the best, you know, and I mean that, if he fought everyone, like an Andy Lara, Paul Williams, someone like that, he would have got bet. I'm not saying they would have bet him necessarily, right? I'm not saying like Lara, I'd pick him to beat him, but it wouldn't shock me if he did, because there's no such thing as a perfect fighter. You're never going to be able to put every fight. If you got a league table of fighters and put them all together, they would be swapping wins. There might be one fighter at the top of the ladder who only has one loss, but nevertheless, he'd still take the 1L. It's always going to happen. So Fury has flaws. He has other flaws as well, like little idiosyncrasies he does in the ring. Like, I was watching a couple of his videos, and I was watching actually Ben Davison talk about it, and you see it with Tyson Fury, is that whenever he shapes up to make an attack, he'll always kind of dab his nose a bit. If you ever see that? So he'll be moving around, he'll be getting ready to shape an attack, and he just kind of, little idiosyncrasy, just dabs his nose, and then boom, he attacks. A lot of fighters are catching on to that now. You know, they're seeing that, they're like, oh yeah. So when we see Fury, now he could obviously double bluff you, but normally when he does that, he'd be in the ring, little dab of the nose, and he looks to attack. Little things like that. In terms of my 3 keys for Dillian Whyte, in that I think he could see him win, straight shots, straight punches for definite, straight right hands. Dillian Whyte can throw straight right hands quite well when he wants to. Up close, you're going to be probably not the stronger guy, but you're going to be able to match Tyson Fury where Deontay Wilder can't, and your shots up close, the hooks, are going to be more compact, they're going to be crisper, they're probably going to be harder too. And last but not least, the footwork of Tyson Fury, the movement. He will not be able, in my opinion, to be able to keep up movement for 12 rounds. Certainly not. He is looking a bit lighter, it does look to be the game plan he's going to go to, but he's not as fleet of foot as he was against Klitschko. There is opportunities there. And I think they're the 3 keys I would take. They're the 3 reasons how Dillian Whyte could potentially beat Tyson Fury. As I said, I'm going to talk about this in depth more in my prediction. We'll kind of go and I'll give you an idea, a synopsis of what both guys I think need to do. But they are just little 3 points about Tyson Fury that I want to put in this few little highlights for you there to watch. And, you know, let me know what you think. I've done my 2 cents on Dillian Whyte. This is Tyson Fury. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed it, lads and lassies. Smash the like button if you did. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to you. Peace.